welcome to my channel, and today we are filming my June TBR. Alright, so a couple of little disclaimers before I start this video. Number one, if you hear huffing in the background, our dog is currently asleep on my bed and he's probably going to start yelling at me that I am interrupting his sleep because that's his favorite thing to do. Secondly, the Bruins game is on downstairs, so if you hear screaming, that is just my boyfriend. Do not be alarmed. If you didn't know, June is my birthday month. I fall on June 29th. And Benson usually picks my TBRs, usually through an activity, or he gives me a specific theme to do for the month. But because it is my birthday month and I am allowed to buy books this month, if you didn't know, for the last 3 months I've been on a book buying ban until I have either read or unhauled. If you did not know, I have been on a book buying ban since March, and basically I made a deal with Benson that if I could get 30 books off of my physical TBR, whether that be by unhauling them or actually reading them, then I could buy books the entirety of June. And I did it. So Benson basically said that because that is the case, I can read whatever I want. June can be entirely a mood reading month, but I still wanted to put out a TBR here for you guys, just so you can keep up with a little bit with my reading. So I have 6 books here that I am hoping to get to in June, but again, with buying books this month, that could absolutely change, so we will see. It also seems that I kind of have a little bit of a theme going on this month, as I chose I think 5 out of the 6 books on here are part of a series, so they're either series continuations or series completions. I didn't do that on purpose. Alright, without further ado, let's jump right into what I'm going to be reading this month. So the first book that I want to read is inspired because June is Pride Month, and I have had this nonfiction book sitting in my closet for a while now, and I finally decided that June is going to be the month that I pick that up. And that is Before I Had the Words by Skylar Kirkle. I really hope I'm saying that right. I'm so sorry if I'm not. I didn't know anything about the author before I picked this up. Apparently he is a YouTube star or YouTube creator that has basically put out videos of him going through his transition and how that's affected him and his life. I got this in one of the little free libraries that is in my neighborhood, and I thought it was really interesting, especially since I've been wanting to get more into nonfiction this year. So I'm super excited to pick this up. This next one is a book that I've just been more gravitating towards since I've been talking about the first book in a couple of my videos lately. And I decided it's time to continue on no matter how much the second book destroyed me, and that is the third Land of Stories book by Chris Colfer. The first book follows Alex and Connor as they have recently lost their father, and in order to get them to cope better with it, their grandmother gives them a family heirloom, which is essentially a book of stories, and they find out that they can transport into this book of stories, and it's just their adventures from there. Again, this is the third book in the series, so I can't really tell you much about what's going on here, especially because it's a huge spoiler for book 2. But I'm super excited to continue on with this series, and I highly recommend to anybody who's looking for a good middle grade if you want to check this out. Also, the author played Kurt on Glee, so that's even more of a reason to pick it up. So the next one was also on my May TBR. Unfortunately, I just didn't get to it. I mean, there are a couple of more days in the rest of the month, but I'm definitely not gonna get to it. I'm in the middle of like 5 other books that I'm most likely just going to end up putting down at this point because it's too much. But that is Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. This follows, the first book follows Kel, who basically the only person that can transport through the three alternate dimensions, the alternate Londons is what I meant to say. And he's kind of pushed into this whole scandal going on, and it's an interesting series, and that was definitely not the best description that I could give, but we're going with it. This next book is another series that I've talked about countless times on this channel, another middle grade series that I have talked about and will continue to talk about because I absolutely adore it. And it's finally getting past the reason that I had started to fall out of love with it, because the main character isn't acting like such a jerk anymore. And that book is the fifth book in the Sisters Grimm series. This follows Daphne and Sabrina Grimm as their parents have recently gone missing, and basically they have been pushed between foster homes until one day a person comes forward claiming to be their grandmother, and they kind of discover that they are descendants of the brothers Grimm, who were real-life fairy tale detectives. So it follows them trying to solve these mysteries, as well as trying to get their parents back and trying to kind of figure out what happened to them along the way. I mentioned a couple times that the reason that I didn't really, or was starting to kind of fall out of love with this series, was because Sabrina is just the type of character that is so unlikable, and that is not usually something that I like in middle grade. In any other genre I can pretty much handle it, but in middle grade I like my characters to be likable. I want to be able to root for them, and unfortunately she was getting to the point where that was very hard to do. But I think she's finally turning around. I think we are getting off to a better start. Again, this is the fifth book in the series. I believe there are 3 or 4 more, so I'm excited to continue on from there. This next book is the final book in a trilogy. It is a book whose other 2 I have absolutely adored. I have had this since its release in March, and I still have not picked it up. And I don't know, oh, okay, no, I know why. Anyway, let me just tell you what the book is first, then I can explain it. Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is probably one of my favorite romance series, if not one of my favorite series of all time. I have adored all 3 books, and I'm making Benson read the first book with me. This particular installment follows the youngest sister, Eve Brown, as she's basically trying to prove to her parents that she is an adult and she's no longer a child. But that kind of gets off to a rocky start when she goes for an interview and accidentally runs over the guy that is supposed to be interviewing her. And it's just the chaos that ensues from there, and the potential love, and I think it's enemies to lovers, and I'm so excited to read this. But that's exactly why I have not picked it up yet, is because I just have so much hype for all 3 of these books, and I'm scared because Eve is my favorite sister of them all, and I'm nervous, but I definitely want to read it because I definitely want to finish the series. Okay, and lastly, this video is going to be super duper short apparently. This is again another series continuation, which will catch me up with the series because I don't think the first book comes out until 2022. And that is Bloody Prose by Nicholas Ames. Yes? Yes. And the first book in this follows, I believe this is just a companion. I don't think you need to read that one before this one, but this does follow the daughter of one of the main characters in the previous book. So basically, this series takes place in a world where mercenaries are treated like rock stars. I absolutely adored the Kings of the Wild. It was one of my top 3 favorite books of 2020. So I'm really excited to pick this up. I've been putting it off for same reason as Act Your Age, Eve Brown, because I've anticipated it so much, and I'm just worried that it won't live up to the hype that I put through it. So I'm super excited. Again, this follows Rose, who is the main character's daughter in the first book. Anyway, that is all. Well, it is the tentative TBR for now, and because again I am buying as many books as I want to in June, I have absolutely no limit. That is definitely subject to change. I know of 2 books that I have already ordered that should be shipping any day now, that I'm definitely going to try to fit in this month, again, so I can complete a series. That is all for now. If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see any more from me, as well as Benson, who you might have heard earlier with his screaming downstairs. I will leave all of his links down in the description box, as well as my social media. If you want to see more updates from me, I am not as social on social media as I like to make myself out to be, but I am getting better. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye!